Eric,
Omar,
these are my favorite episodes.
you know what? They are mine too.
Because, yeah, the science is important. The history of former hunks and hunkettes, love it. But talking to real life, in the flesh, hunks doing the damn thing at the highest level. I meant it when I said, Austin, I saw you last time. I was like, you're in the video, where I said, you made me feel bad. Like, one, I hate that you're completely shattering this illusion that I think the general fitness population has, that powerlifters, in quotation, that they're not in shape, that they're fat, that they're not muscular. This dude was on the other side of the gym, just putting in, as he said, light work, which is above my max. Doesn't even matter. But I wish people, Austin, just knew how hard top level lifters like truly worked, both achieve their physique and the result, because that kind of catch-all phrase that's still very present. Like I see it like in my little corner about there's always like a false dichotomy, but that's why I had to give you some love even for that in the video, because I'm like, man, this guy, like Eric's the bodybuilding individual. So he's the one that can answer that question. But I'm just saying strong and also yacked, top tier hunk right there.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know. I've always been sort of kind of cut.
Okay.
I think it's because honestly, I have a very athletic background, so I like powerlifting wasn't my first sport. Of course, I'm not one of those people who's like didn't do really anything, and they found the gym and was like, I'm just gonna start lifting. Like, no, this like when I was 5 years old, I started playing soccer, and then on and so forth. I was just playing sport after sport after sport. So like, I guess I was built to do this. I guess you could say like train for it all my life. I feel like I joke about that all the time. Like, yeah, I'm not
Eric.
built fat, you know. Thankfully, I have a little chisel. Well,
Eric, he said the best, like, as an American listing soccer, I don't know how much more respect now I can have for you, because like soccer is not, you got football, you got obviously like baseball, you got basketball. These are the top rated, kind of American sports. And this man just said soccer, which was my sport growing up. I love to hear this.
no, yeah, soccer's fun, dude. Like that was the first sport that I ever played, and just it transferred from other things. But just because it isn't as big as in the U.S., so people aren't just gonna be like, I want to play soccer when I grow up. The states are based on, especially in the South, and the states are based on football. So that was like the last sport I played before like cutting everything out.
Eric, I'm just excited. So please bring some perspective for people, because now this is just a few weeks after it actually occurred, a historic moment in powerlifting. Some are calling it the greatest powerlifting performance of all time. And there's a reason why it's sensational. Let me just say, Austin, from knowing you just a little bit over the last several months, a bit of your background, a bit of the story, what the goal was, how insurmountable it seemed from an outside perspective. Not you, but just the record that you were challenging, and then the performance that already it was evaluated, in your weight class, 74 kg, 75 kg. That total that was light years beyond everyone else. When we evaluate athletes, we look comparatively at other people they're competing against, and that number was already so high that for you to try and challenge this seemingly unchallengeable total and then surpassing it and redefining what is possible in a weight class, it is much deserved when people are calling it a historic performance and perhaps one of the greatest, if not the greatest, powerlifting performance. So it's an honor to have you, man.
Thank you so much. It's great being here, man.
No, truly is quite an incredible thing, and we appreciate you making the time. I know after a meet like this, you probably just want to be like chilling, yeah. So for those we have a varied audience at Iron Culture. We got people who like the pecs, we got people who like the powerlifting. You choose your own P. We don't discriminate. So for those who have not been following powerlifting, even though you haven't, you probably are aware from us talking about it, that Mega Nationals just happened. We recapped some of those key performances in just last week's episode, and there were a number of standout ones. And arguably, at least on the men's side, the biggest standout one was Austin Perkins, the 75 kilo class. By the way, only a stitch over 74, totaling 851. And
I should have not ate, man. I should have not ate. That's what it was, dude.
Well, I hate to say it, but if you'd had to travel for this, and if you'd lost another 290 grams, it's pretty clear you would have only totaled 750. So, I mean,
yeah.
For me, when I skip one meal, I obviously lose 150 kilos off my total, and I'm sure it's the same for you. Not IPF, not legit. Sorry, buddy. But No, but in all seriousness, so the incredible performance that to this point was considered the pound for pound greatest performance on the men's side of powerlifting of all time was Taylor Atwood at the same meet prior to the split, of course, but still USAPL Nationals. He did this in 2021. He went 838.5, nearly totaling more than Russ in the 83s. And it was an historic performance. It was 30 kilos ahead of what anyone else was even sniffing at that time. So to do 851, and by the way, to do it in such a excellent professional way, 9 for 9, and with a little bit of room left in the tank, in most of these lifts, to be honest, if you watched it, it was not like, it didn't look like panda lifting. The man was not grinding. Let me just say that.
That was on another level. I'm glad it didn't look like that. Oh my God.
Yeah. So 313.5 squat record, 200 keys on the bench. That's come up a lot recently for you. And then a 337 kilo deadlift, 851. And this wasn't just you getting close to the next weight class up to 82.5. You totaled more than the 82s. So it's really quite hard to overstate just how much of a dominant performance this was. The highest total in the 82s was 815. The highest total we've seen in the 83s in the IPF is less than this. So this is a redonkulous performance. It is the highest formula on the men's side right now. So I knew we would see this one day. I'll be honest with you, Austin, as much as I knew that you were nipping at the heels of Atwood, I didn't think it would be this soon, and I didn't think it would be to this degree. And I hope you don't take that as disrespect. If anything, it is just astonishing how good this performance was, which just elevates the level of respect. So huge kudos to you, huge congrats.
Thank you. No, yeah, I really don't consider it like disrespect at all. Because one time I think it was the first time I went against Taylor in 2019.
That sounds right.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I think you're not really good. You're gonna be good and better. And then the last time, whatever he told the 838, having his dad was just like one day, one day you're gonna hit it. But it's just Taylor's just on another level right now. He's in his prime and stuff like that. So it's just gonna be difficult, man. I was like, yeah, I know other people at least see it it's gonna be possible one day. They see that I have the ability to do it. And yeah, man, it felt good to do it. It was like you said, it was a pretty easy day. At first, I really didn't like saying that because I feel like people probably thought I was being cocky about it. But no, I think it's just the way that my coach Joe Stanek, Joe Game Day on Instagram, if he just picked me so well for it. It felt like the last thing I did before the 851 was 825. And that felt like a day because we knew we weren't going to go into that meet with 825, kind of go all out anyway. It was just to make sure we could put things again on the platform, see if everything worked to compete for nationals, so we can use it for nationals. And it ended up working perfectly. And so I went in that day, and I really didn't have any doubt that it would be difficult because we already knew that I've hit 200 in training so many times anyway. I had squatted 305 the week prior for a double, super easy. So I know around the last deadlift, which was supposed to be 815, was going to be still around the same. And then that deadlift was the only one we're kind of skeptical about because we changed the peak the tiniest bit. Last time we ended with a heavier deadlift, 2.5 kilos less than when I put it to meet. But this time we only hit my opener and then it worked perfectly. So I just want to say kudos to Joe. He made everything. He's the reason everything moved really easy. But yeah, it was a great performance. I really loved it. It's crazy to think that Taylor's was 838.5 and no one really thought that it was going to be achievable, anytime soon. I really didn't even think it was going to be achievable anytime soon. I knew it would probably pass it one day, but I was thinking probably 3 to 5 years from then.
Yeah. There was rumblings. I mean, that 825 that you did was oh, he's close. This is going to be how long until Perkins, overtakes the current king? And then also, I think the question is how long is it going to take Taylor to potentially get back up to his peak? Because I think people are prematurely writing him off at this stage. I do think that right now, and this is an interesting take because I want to get your perspective on Austin, because you're a young man. You're 25?
24.
24. Jesus. I want you to be 25. You're too damn young to be this strong, Austin. Okay. So you're 24. My perspective on powerlifting is obviously going to differ from yours because I'm a whole junior in high school older than you. But so when I started lifting in the mid 2000s and paying attention to powerlifting and getting involved competitively in coaching, there was literally 1/10 the number of people registered in the USAPL compared to what there is today. So the growth of the sport has been huge, and there's also been a huge growth among a younger demographic. So I think what we're seeing is that our perception of when is the peak age of powerlifters is actually getting dragged down a little bit, because we're seeing a greater pool of athletes like yourself with an athletic background, which tend to be the ones who do well in sport, maybe not even at their peak, totaling these huge numbers. Like I have no reason to think you won't go above 851. I think a betting man would probably say you will, considering your age. So, however, the kind of cool thing is that from prior years, not even decades, I would say, there's actually been some research just polling and looking at some of the data in open powerlifting of when do powerlifters peak. And it's actually quite surprising. It's 35 plus or minus 7 years, meaning that there's plenty of people who hit their biggest total in their early 40s. And, we can look at people like Dave Ricks as extreme examples of this, hitting it in their 50s. But, there's many. Like we were hanging out with Ellis McLean in game day, and he was talking about how he feels like he's his strongest right now. So, and he also, when he won his world championships, his age was in the 3s, not the 2s. So anyway, what I want to ask you is, do you think that we are close to the peak of where the sport's going to be right now on the men's side, or do you think we're just starting up that hill?
It depends on how you look at it, honestly. I think it depends on how the person trains with everything and how they go about it, because there's a lot of young kids that they push so hard and I feel like they burn themselves out. There's people that are like really good. For example, JJ Falk, now he's like the first person that won nationals not in prime time, and then the youngest ever to win nationals. And like him, he's been lifting for a while, and so like his peak is fine. He should not get his peak. Like he's done like powerlifting for like 5 years now, something like that, 3 or 5 years. And it's just crazy to think like he probably can get better, but then there's people that start around the same time as him that just get better and then they just go down.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly, and then also you got to realize we're in a strength sport team, and it's with your body. If you're not staying healthy as well, you mess up your peak altogether. Like if you have these major, if you're going hard, you're like 19 years old, you're getting stronger, but you're like, I can keep going harder, and then you boom, have a hip injury or lower back injury. Now you have to figure out how to lift without that pain forever, and those is gonna interrupt you getting stronger and peak. But I feel like if you can stay healthy 100%, like it's a longevity thing. It's just, you just have to, like me, I've been lifting for, it'll be my 11th year, 12th year powerlifting. So I've never had any major injuries. Like I've now had 2 minor ones, but they're not like anything that I had to go to the doctor with that was super painful. Besides my hernia, but I don't consider that like a health, like it didn't hurt me. That wasn't like something I was in the gym doing and that I got hurt doing it. But yeah, as long as you don't have any like really major aches or pains, then I think probably around 28 to 35 are probably the time you've got to peak and get stronger. It's just about being healthy.
You're speaking the language that this old man wants you to speak. You're falling right into my leading questions. I appreciate it. And obviously I had no biased answer there. No, but seriously, like I think this is an important message, because when people hear, hey, he's 25, he's young, he's coming up, you can speak to the current generation of young, just coming out of the juniors powerlifters better than I can, experientially. And I think it's a really valuable perspective, because it's something that is difficult to understand unless you've been doing it for a while. And I'm glad you brought up the fact you've been lifting for 11 years. There's very few 25-year-olds who have been. So as much as you are kind of only a couple years out of the juniors, you are absolutely not a novice lifter by any means. So having that kind of long game perspective is important. And I tell you what, I told Bryce Lewis after one of his very first competitions that I coached him in, and he had a breakout performance. I said, dude, the difference between you and you as a world champion is just not getting hurt. And he really didn't have any significant injuries his whole powerlifting career. And that is what ended up happening. And I'm not saying, oh, look, I'm Nostradamus. I'm just trying to back you up and say, look, this is just such a critical piece in strength sport and powerlifting, to have that long-term perspective, to not be redlining your volumes or your loads early on, but focusing more on what do I need to do to progress in a healthy and sustainable manner. And I think as the sport gets more competitive and there's more clout and podcasts and social media, the pressures are only going to increase for people to redline it. So it's really important for people to hear from the champ that, hey, like, this is a long game, no matter how you look at it, if you want to be successful.
Yeah, no matter what, you gotta stay healthy. That's when my college powerlifting coach showed me that usually that's what separates you from the people that end up being really good and the people that end up being really great. Remember, for doing what they need to do, it's literally staying healthy. As long as you stay healthy, you should be fine. I think he's been powerlifting for 28 to 35 years plus. So, and he's only had one major injury, and I was around when he had it, and it was because he was doing dumb stuff away from the gym thing, and then he hurt himself, and that's what put him back. He's like I said, he's probably 47, 48 now. So like half of his life he's been powerlifting until he got old enough, and then it's like, dang, now I'm having an injury when I'm 42, 43 years old. But he's had won worlds multiple times, had a lot of national championships, and just because he just stayed healthy. That was it. Biggest thing, man. That's my biggest advice.
Austin.
Well, hey, Domar, go for it.
I was going to say, come on, Matt. This is Eric. This is the message we want to give to the Iron Cult, and Austin is just delivering what they need to hear. I also like, Austin, how much, man, you give respect to other people, where you gave it to your coach, to Pound the Gym, shout out to Game Day, Barbell and Tim, to the videographer, Youngblood Joseph. I want you maybe to talk to him about him a little bit. I want to get into your backstory right after, though, because I think there is a very important story to be told there. As you said, what I've observed about you, man, the 3 times as a game day, so what is that, 6 weeks, I guess, total from this past year, is that there is a quiet confidence about you. That's something that I personally identify with, and I like to see where the things that you had stated, or the air that was around the gym, it was electric. That there's a difference between, I don't want to call it fake bravado, and I mean nothing by that, by other lifters, that they're almost trying to speak something into existence that then they need to believe. So they're putting it out, and they don't quite believe it yet, but if they shout it out enough times, they're going to start believing it. Whereas
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and I experienced the opposite with you, where there was just this quiet confidence, like Joe when he would speak about you, Joseph when he would speak about you, that there was this firm belief that was almost understated. Like Tim would say, we're driving, between the warehouse or whatever, the gym, and he's like, it's Perks time. And the way that he would say it, once again, it wasn't this thing trying to hype you up, you got it, come on, you could do this. Even I saw some of your sessions, man, how focused you are. Can you just talk a little bit maybe about the environment, the coach, even the young blood, where it seems like you've selected these things, who you allow obviously into your life, like your fiance, to create this ideal environment. But I really see, I'm not sure how much you thought, yes, these are the things I need to create, or it's just happenstance. Can you just talk about that surrounding environment, that may or may not have assisted in everything?
So I love having people around me that they give good energy, and a big energy person. So as long as the environment's good, and like I said, I played sports, so I like having that team aspect of life, and having your team that supports you and believes in you it's great and amazing. I feel like there's a difference of people being they 100% believe in you, or they just see and believe in what you do. I'll say it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to my fiance has always believed in me, even though she didn't know. She always talks about how before she came to college, she was like, I didn't know who you were. She didn't powerlifter too. And she's like, I never knew who you were. So she was just like, dang, I saw how bad you wanted it. And I really didn't even know how good you were until other people told me, and I saw how other people started treating you whenever we went to different gyms or did different things. When it came to Joe's always believed in me from the get go. Like he's seen it in me from when he wasn't even my coach. Like we we hung out a few times. That's like I met him around the same first time I met Tim. Shout out to Tim, game day Warbo. But he just was like, "Hey man, like you can be literally the best power lifter ever. Like I see it. I know you can. You have the work ethic for it. You put in the work. You do what needs to be done. Like one of my I'll refer back to my college coach. She always said that I was very coachable. I'm just like that. It's like whatever Joe tells me to do, I'm going to do it. He's like, hey, this week I need you to eat this. I would literally eat that exact thing, like the exact brand, the same picture he sent. Make sure it's the exact. Like I'm not gonna. If he says I want you to eat Rice Krispie treats, I'm not gonna go and get the tiny ones and be like, oh well, 4 of these equal the one big one he told me to get. No, I'm just going to get the big one. If I have to go to 5 different stores, I'm going to go get that. One time he had me eat potato bread, and I went to like 5 different stores and couldn't find it, and I was like, we're just gonna keep going. And then he was like, you ordered it offline. I ended up ordering it offline. Like that's how bad it got. And then when it comes to Joseph, shout out Joseph. I love Joseph. He's like literally like a little brother to me. I met him kind of through Nico, but he was already around game day. Like I talk to him every once in a while. I see him training, and actually Ted introduced us. That's how we met. He was like, "This is the guy who's gonna beat you one day," and come up and pass you. And then Joseph was like, he's like, "Why would Tim say that?" And I was like, "Oh no, man, I love it. I mean, I love the energy. Like that's what I want. I'm not the type of guy to be like, hey, like, oh, I don't know why they're saying that. I don't know what they say they're gonna beat me. Like I want you to try. I want you to put that energy and put that effort in. Like that's only gonna make us both better. Like I don't want to push anyone down. I want the best of everyone." But Joseph was great. I ended up coaching him for a little while. Just because he was like, you're just a great kid. Like he had the confidence about him. You know, Joseph. He had very a lot of confidence. I just want to say Joseph is the youngest old person I
Yes.
ever known. Like if you're around Joseph, you won't think that he's 18.
Yep.
You will not. Like if he didn't say how old he was at all, and he walked around and hung around about it, just the way he carries himself is amazing. Even my fiance said, she's like, I really like hanging out with Joseph, like more than hanging out with some of the people that are our age, just because they're still very immature. And Joseph is one of the most immature people we've ever met. I won't even call him a kid. Like the most immature person I've ever met, and I love him. He's always believed in me too. He's always told me like he's one of the people that's always in the back of my head, like, bro, like we think about the same thing. And he's like, I can't believe people are still sleeping on you, man. Like that's crazy. They don't see what you're doing and to the level you're doing it to and the work you're putting in. It's not like you're being cocky and saying you are gonna be the best. It's like you know you're going to be the best because of the work you put in and what you do and what rates you do it at. And it's like he had to help me realize that it's a confidence, not a cockiness. He's helped me with a lot mentally. So like I said, shout out Joseph, shout out everyone that's around me. When I'm in the gym, we always try to make each other better at game day. It's never an environment where people are like, oh, well, I hope this person doesn't get better, or like, oh, here comes this person coming again. It's always like me, Bam, Cassie, my fiance, Christy. Like we even got this one girl, she's a trauma nurse, and she was only supposed to be here for like 3 months, 4 months, something like that. She ended up staying for like 6 months, 7 months, because she just loved the energy that we had at game day. Like Omar can tell you, whenever someone's in there, that's like we'll literally call each other or be like, hey, it's my primary day. I have a top set RP8. Come through at this time. Like we need the hype, and everyone to collect what they're doing, come in that time, even if it's like their off day, and hype the person up if it's really on the spot or just to get someone hype, but they just want us there in general. Like I love the energy. I love keeping people around me that want to get better no matter what, want to see you do better, want to push you. Like, hey, dude, them squats are high. You got to get those down. Like, oh, your deadlift at the top, bro. Like, that wasn't locked out. Like, we're going to be 100% honest. There is no, like, yeah, that was great, man. Like, some people that squat high and then their friends are like, oh, great squat. Like, nah, man. Nah, they're like, hey, bro, that squat was high. You better get it down because you're not going to get that. So you got to keep that positive energy no matter what. It's a great environment. You want to have that environment when you're around people.
Austin, come on. Austin in Austin. Let me just say real quick, man, that I feel it. I've been there. Game day is by far one of my favorite gyms I've been to. It's always a pleasure now that we did like the Rascal move and everything, just to be able to lift there. Like, shout out, how can I forget, man? Bam Bam, like Bradley, like you guys, the environment that you create, the level that you're training at is super high, but it's a very conducive environment to coax a good performance. You probably don't even remember this, Austin. The first time I came, I was lifting with the big hoss, Tim, some light shit we're doing, right? So I worked up to like 230 on the deadlift for single. We just finished moving some BS. You were there. You actually were talking with, I think, that dude, Israel. And anyways, I did the single, and we hadn't like spoken before. And I did a single, and I heard you from out. You're like, okay. You're like, okay, all right, all right. And it's like we had never spoken before, but it's just like that's personally like people thrive off of different things. Like sometimes they see themselves as like, you know, the underdog where they have to craft the narrative, which is totally fine. They're like, it's the world against me, or like what? Again, different motivational pathways for different people. But I'll just echo what you said. I think you guys have something very special. I think you participating in it in the group, it just makes a profound difference. I do want to take just a quick step back, though, because there is something before we get into all this powerlifting, the accomplishments, the goals, what you want to achieve. We mentioned kind of the quiet confidence. I want to tell I want Austin actually to tell the Austin Perkins story because I remember it's very powerful. One time I forget how you phrased it. We're just talking, I think it was the last time, where you said, like, man, people don't even know like where I come from or like anything at all, like just my journey to this point. And so I see like a strength of character and resolve within you that I think a lot of like obviously great champions have for a wide variety of different reasons. Let's just take a step back, man. And can you tell us, Austin, your story before powerlifting? What do you want to say, Eric?
I just wanted to real quick say how it's so cool to see this for me because the history does run deep. I was actually looking to see when was the first time that I communicated with Joe Stanek. So it was actually on Facebook Messenger way back in March of 2014. 2014, yeah. He was the president of the Syracuse University Barbell Club, and he asked if I would consider doing a presentation for them. And I said, yeah, for the low price of $2,000, more than happy to. No, I'm just kidding. Like, so that it was, so he reached out, we got to do that. And he also then, you know, like communicated with me and he wanted to do like some like coach the coach type of stuff back then. And I worked with him a bit on like his bodybuilding programming. And he eventually, ended up being, we joked about it, like my grand client, because he was working with and getting mentored by Bryce Lewis, and he worked at TSA before he moved on to Game Day. And big respect to him. I sent him a message after you and some of the other athletes did so well at Nats, and to say, man, you've been super professional. It's awesome to see you kicking ass and coming into your own. I feel positive just about the future of the sport and like the coming generations. And it was just really cool to see that things are going in a direction that I think are very positive and healthy as someone who's been around for just a little bit. I'm not, you know, like super like peaced out X generation. I'm still competing and coaching, but it's just, it's a good thing to see, you know, because not necessarily all things progress, unfortunately. And yeah, I just want to say that the way you carry yourself and the way you give respect to the people around you, and I know the people around you, like it doesn't surprise me. It's good to see good people come together. And now it's even more awesome that Omar's got Rascal working out of there. And it was really cool to meet Tim and you and catch up with Joe again. So anyway, just want to say, love it. For those who don't know, we had Joe on back in episode 86 of Iron Culture as well. So anyway, I'll leave it there because I would love to hear your backstory. I think that is going to give people a lot of context of, you know, if they just come to you and learn who you are now, they see this amazing performance. Oh my God, elite athlete, but there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, well, I'll try to keep this. I feel like it's a long story, but I'll try to hit the certain points.
Take your time.
On the
You
way.
go as long as you want.
100% take your time.
So background, I give you just general background in general. I think a lot of people think that I'm from Texas in the States, but not. I'm from Mississippi. They even put the flag. I saw this when I went back and watched the live stream. They put the Texas flag on my thing. Maybe it's because Mississippi doesn't have a flag right now. I don't even know if they do have a flag, but our flag used to have the Confederate flag in it. So we had like a little switch like a year ago.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the reason. I don't know. But yeah, I'm from Mississippi, small town, Jackson, Mississippi, Clinton, Mississippi, right beside it. So people just know Mississippi in general, super small, not really an amazing state. Very not diverse. Very not the greatest for people of color. Because Mississippi, of course, you know, the last state the get rid of slavery. You know, we did that in like 2014 to sign the bill. But so it was kind of hard, you know, growing up a little bit. I really wasn't the most confident. I was super small as everyone. I'm like 5'4", so I'm not really that tall. Like I said before early in the episode, the South is usually like a football state. Football states down there, so everybody was like wanted to be bigger, wanted to go to the NFL. That was one of my goals once I came of age to start playing like high school sports, was just to go and probably play pro. But then probably around senior year, I had that time where like I was like, hey, like I'm 5'4". No one's playing professional football 5'4". Like 160, 145, bro. Like no football players doing that. So I had started powerlifting my 7th grade year. So I was 12, 13.
That's amazing.
And the only reason I did it, they only had a high school team, of course. It wasn't like a junior high sport. So the only reason I got on it was because one of my friends at the time was like, hey, I'm on a high school team and I'm in 7th grade. And I was like, I don't want to be on a high school team and I'm in 7th grade. So I joined the powerlifting. Was not really that good. My mom was just talking to me the other day after she took me out to eat after winning. She was like, I can't believe this is the same boy that his first powerlifting meet went in the restroom and cried because he got second. And I was like, yeah, it's the same kid. It's crazy to think about. And then I kept doing it. I really wasn't that amazing as I was like, as I am now. There was a year I went from 7th grade, 8th grade, and then 9th grade, I moved away, did powerlift for a year, but because I went to Arkansas and didn't have powerlifting for high school. So I did wrestling for a year, yada, yada, yada. That was terrible, by the way. I sucked at it. I'm like, if you go off my wrestling career, I'm 0-3.
Wait, hold on. I thought being really strong, Omar, meant that you could fight people and
Anything.
win. Is that not? The internet has
sorry.
taught me that.
Austin, have you heard about Bradley Martin saying he's 260 though? Do you know that meme or no?
Yeah.
He's 260 though. Bro, you have the greatest powerlifting total of all time. What you talking about?
Yeah, right? Like, bro, no one cares about that. Like, and like, if I could go back now and I'd be like, hey, don't worry about it, bro. You'll be strong. You're like, oh, it's fine. You know?
You're saying.
Yeah, I had that time where I just didn't powerlift, and then I came back to Mississippi, and then I started back again. I went to state my 10th grade year and 11th grade year. Didn't win high school state powerlifting. Senior year,
Really briefly, Austin, just because we have an international audience, some people's brains are breaking. Can you explain to them that in certain parts of the U.S., there are high school powerlifting teams and what that experience is like?
So I think there are a few states that just have them as like part of the school. Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Wisconsin, Nebraska. I think those are the 5 that I 100% know for sure have high school teams. It's kind of based like nationals, like how national meets are based. You have teams, or collegiate nationals, let's go with that. Collegiate nationals is based. There's teams from different schools. Mine was Clinton High School, and we'll go against like schools like Brandon. And it's like literally just different parts of the state. It's literally the exact same thing as it's USA Powerlifting, USPA, WRPF, all your major feds, IPF. Except they have different rules. Like I'm pretty sure the only state that separates raw and equipped is Wisconsin, and that's because their state championships are hosted by USAPL and part of the school district. That's the coolest thing about them. But Texas, they have their own, which Texas High School Powerlifting, people don't know, is the largest powerlifting federation in the world. Like a high school sport is the highest. They have different rules as well. They use pound plates just like every other school that does powerlifting in high school. They but they all in Mississippi, Texas, and Louisiana, their powerlifting is equipped because that's how powerlifting started, as equipped. Texas, though, you can wear bench shirts and deadlift suits and squat suits, and a lot of people don't know this. So these high school Texas lifters that are like equipped, that are super strong, they can wear like squat briefs underneath their squat suit. So they're like
Multiply.
basically in Texas. People don't know that. But in Mississippi, it's only a squat suit. You can wear a deadlift suit, but you can't wear a bench shirt. So when I was in high school, I had a pretty decent squat, like always. My deadlift was trash because I pulled conventional. Shout out Omar for pulling conventional because I can't do that shit at all. But I didn't wear a bench shirt, so my bench was completely raw. So you would bench, you would squat, deadlift, equipped, and then bench raw. That's the only difference between like all these different high school things. So, story about that. So, my senior year of high school, someone introduced me to USA Powerlifting. Was like, "Hey, you should try this because you're really strong, and you can maybe make the national team or the world team." And I was like, "Okay, why not? I guess I'll give it a try." So I do like a small local meet in Mississippi. I'll end up qualifying because the qualifying total for, I guess, like a team wasn't even that high for high school Nats anyways, high school nationals. Actually, it's my junior year that this happens. Not my senior year. Dang, that's been a long time. I go to nationals, my first nationals, I almost bomb out. High school nationals my junior year. I think I'm like 16, 17. Yeah, I almost bombed out on squad because like I didn't know any of the rules. I hadn't been to a national meet. It was totally different than how they host here in Mississippi. You were just like, you say your stuff in kilos and then you go, but at nationals you have to like write it on the card and stuff. My dad didn't know he had to have. I didn't have a handler or anything because I didn't know what a handler was. They were like, you have to write your number on the card, then hand it in. So I kind of had like some random person help me with that. And then I saw all these people wearing shirts while they bench. It's like they're walking like this, their arms out like a zombie. And I'm like, what are these people wearing? And I was like, how are they benching so much? Like these guys are benching like 290 plus. And I'm like, this makes literal no sense. And then I just ask a random person like, hey, can I like put that on? Like, can I wear it while I bench? And they're like, have you never wore one before? And I was like, no. They're like, all right, we'll help you put it on you, but like, you just have to go out there and just try to bench. And that was the only reason I kept up in that lead. And I ended up getting second. So I ended up borrowing a random shirt off of someone and I got second. And that was cool. So the next year I was like, I kind of know the gist of it. I lost state my junior year, like I did say it. So I went to nationals, got second at nationals, went to state, and then got like second or third at state or fifth. I think I tried to I didn't have a coach that knew powerlifting either. The powerlifting coaches in Mississippi are just literal football coaches that just want more money. That's literally all they are. So he really didn't know anything. And so I got like fifth at state and I tried to pull for the one and then that was terrible. And then next year comes around and I'm like, hey, like, I'm really good at this powerlifting thing. I think I want to quit football. Like my senior year, I don't want to play. Like if I don't want to like dedicate 100% of my energy to it. My dad was a football coach. And he was like, no, don't do that. He was like, we're going to win state this year because I don't know if you guys know American football like that, but I went to school with the Rams running back Cam Akers. So he's a really good guy, really cool guy. But my dad was like, we're going to win state this year. Like everyone's on our team. We had like 5 D1 recruits. My school was like the year I graduated was really good when it came to sports for some reason. Like every sport we had someone like in swimming, we had someone that was in the Olympic trials. In high school, we had that guy Cam Akers who went to D1 college, had like scouts from Alabama, University of Florida, like every college literally. We have another guy that was one of my friends that graduated. He plays basketball overseas professionally now. We have another girl that went professional for track. Another guy who went for bowling. Like it was literally every sport that someone was going to like a D1 school or like the best school for their sport. But he was like, yeah, no, don't. You're gonna get a ring, so don't do it. Like it'll be fine. And we ended up winning a ring, so thank God I did stay. And then I go to high school nationals, and I'm feeling good. And then your boy ends up winning high school nationals. Feeling good. I'm real confident. Was walking around. It's Mississippi States are after nationals, so I did like nationals in April, and then or in March. Nationals in March, and then in April the following month I had Mississippi States. I had the news come out. That's when Midland started giving out scholarships. That's where I went to college at. And I had said I was going to go there, so I was one of the first one to state to get a scholarship. And then I lose state. Literally lose state. Everyone like in the stadiums like watching me, wants to see me look because I had just won nationals. I was the only person in Mississippi who went to national. So I had won it, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, like it's crazy! Like he just won nationals, now he's doing state." And your boy ends up losing. Was crying on the podium, her head down, sad. My mom was like, "Oh, I look so bad." My cat was like, "Why are you crying? Like it's fine. Like you already won you won nationals. And enough people who don't know in state and Mississippi, I think maybe they do it in Texas too, that each, like, after you have regionals, North State, then state. So after each meet, they give you like I don't want to say 5 pounds. So I'm going to say like a 2 pound like limit each time. So say you have to weigh in at 165 at regionals. North State, you can weigh in at 167. And then at state, you can weigh in at 169. Like, they gave you that much. And I was already under 165. I was a light 165. So I probably weighed in at like 160, 159. And then the other guy in my weight class literally weighed in the maximum amount he could weigh in. Like, he weighed in at 169. And my dad was like, don't worry about that. Like, that kid wouldn't have been in your weight class at a national meet. You're not doing Mississippi States anymore. Like, it's fine. He was a bigger guy. Like, it's cool. So I ended up not winning that. But then I was supposed to go to Midland, like I said, my freshman year of college. But my dad was like, no, I think you should just stay closer to home. You know, being like from Mississippi, being a minority, being Black. And it's like, you're going all the way far away. Like, I'm really nervous about that. And so I really did. And I declined the scholarship and ended up going to Mississippi State for a year. That was really not that good. The coach really was okay, but he really didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't like a Joe Stanek, you know. He wasn't like he was just a guy that was like, hey, let's just do this and maybe you'll get stronger type thing. That was terrible. I went to Legion still when I got second that year, but I was lifting equipment at that point, so I wasn't lifting raw yet. Then it wasn't until Midland University. Now we're in the good years, boys. Midland University, great. Shout out Midland University. Love them. They changed my life. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in the spot I am right now. I say that all the time. Tim Anderson, my coach, if he wouldn't have found me and gave me a chance and believed in me that little bit, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. So shout out to him. I get there. I really still wasn't that strong. There were so many other people that were super strong there that were coming in. This is when powerlifting on social media was just starting to get big. So kind of like everyone knew each other already, and I really didn't know anyone because I didn't follow anyone. But I never knew like these people existed. Like, there's people like my friend Chloe Dublin. She was super strong. She came in. Shane Nutt. Shane Nutt was a big guy, really good. He was there. Joe Pena, like the first person to squat like a clip 1,000 like a kid in high school. Like, all these people were there, and I was just now discovering who they are. I'm like, dang, like I thought I was pretty good, you know, in Mississippi, but that small town Mississippi, and then you see all these other people, and it's like, dang, all these people are really strong. So everything, I powerlifted and did equipped my first year just because he recruited me for equip. I did a raw meet, and that was like right before the Arnold, I'm pretty sure, something like that. So I think I don't even know what I told him my first meet. I don't want to lie. It was something in the 700. So, and that would have got me like 3rd to 5th at nationals that year. So I was like, I was feeling really good. And I was like, dang, like, this is my first raw meet. I did pretty good. I went on the rest of the year. And then
Is that the Milwaukee Collegiate Cup?
Milwaukee Collegiate Cup.
670 according to Open Powerlifting.
Yeah. I did last
time. Got to bring you back down to earth, okay?
Yeah. I didn't know that bad. I don't know. So 670. So that was still pretty good for 74. So I don't think no one had total anything like, I think the highest total probably around that time was like 770, 80 by Taylor at that point. And like, there was nothing really that crazy.
And they weren't 18, dude.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we're in 18 either. But that was like the first meet that I did. Can you tell me what the second meet I did raw after that? Is that on that?
I got you, yeah. Second meet you did raw, according to this, is Nebraska Collegiate State Championships, 2019. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I broke the squat record at that one for teams, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah, that was my last meet before I went to Estonia. Correct?
That sounds right. Yeah, man. Or let's see. That would have been you actually got a couple Open Nationals before there and Collegiate Nationals, then Estonia.
Oh yeah, no, those are equipped. Yeah. So yeah, I did a Nationals equipped and did that stuff. I won that, but I was super upset at that meet because the reason I went to Midland was because I wanted a team championship. That was my biggest thing. Like I said before, I thrive off like other people around me, and it was like a dynasty, so many good people, really great. But we had like a lot of slip ups that year. Like we lost like 3 of our heavy hitter equipped people. And even the coach gave me a chance. He was like, do you want to just switch? Like, I'll let you just switch if you want to just switch. And I was like, nah, like I'll stick it out. Like, it's fine. I mean, if I left in the team, we literally had no one, and that would look even worse. But we get there and then we lose. And I'm like, And then the year after that, yeah, it happens again. Yeah, they lose again. I'm mad. And I'm like, freak, man, I just want to ring. But in between that, I meet in Estonia, man. The meet that blew me out. Crazy. I go to Worlds. It was my first Worlds competition. I had seen so many people do good. And that's when I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I want to be one of the best. Like, I don't want to be the best, but I want to be one of the best. I'm going to go up there and be one of the top. And so I end up breaking the squad record.
Was that your first time overseas, Austin?
Yeah, that's my only time overseas, actually.
So you've only been overseas for the University World Cup, and so, well, obviously we'll get there in the future, but probably not the last time to be overseas.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I should be there definitely 2 years in the UK.
That's right.
Yeah, so I go there and I go crazy. It's like my breakout meet. I remember vividly King of the Live posting on their page and being like, a new star is born. Like, that was my very first meet. I squatted the record, deadlifted the record, and then the total record as well. And that was just a great meet. I got best lifter that meet. Midland won as a team. Finally, that's when I was like, dang, like I actually can be really good at this sport. And push boundaries. And then stuff happens, yada, yada, yada. I left equipment for some, was doing good. I was in college, not really. I was living in college, like, you know how it is when you go to college, you want to party, you want to drink, do all the things and stuff like that. So I was in my, like, feeling good. Everyone that came in from now on, like, already knew who Austin Perkins was. Like, I was kind of like that. I wasn't a cocky jock at all. I wouldn't call myself a cocky jock, but I knew people knew who I was. And I was just like, I'm fine now. Like, no one's really that close. The only person that's above me is Taylor. Like, that's really it. Like, I had that mindset. And then I go to nationals, first year nationals as a junior, and I could get second, bro. Like, everyone was talking about Taylor and Michael C. And then I was like, would you guys like not see me? Like, I'm right here. Like, that's one of my biggest things that me and Joseph talk about all the time. It's like, I don't see how people don't see me. Like, I'm literally right here. Like, I'm good. I'm doing these things. I'm doing good in the gym, but I would always get overshadowed by Taylor because, I mean, he's one of the GOATs. He was the greatest of all time at the time. So I just got overshadowed, but I just knew I was directly under him, though. I knew that there was no one above me but him.
Yeah, and I think importantly is that people who were not really thinking about this very well, we have a recency bias in powerlifting, that people focus on what is going on right now and they don't think long term. But when you placed second at Taylor at Nationals, I think you were, you might have been 20 or 30 kilos behind him. I don't remember his exact total offhand. I want to say it was high 700s at that point. But he was 30, and you were 19. So anyone who isn't thinking about this is missing out. Like, there's not many like sub juniors who are putting up totals that are, like second to not just anybody winning nationals, but second to somebody who is at the peak of the peak winning nationals. So yeah, I think absolutely the seeds were planted at that point. But just to contextualize this as a little bit, so I do think people were overlooking you at that point, at least as far as your potential.
Yeah, view was definitely skewed when it came to stuff like that. But I ended up losing to him then, and then that's when the 800 kg started. That's like after that first time I went against Taylor. Ever after that, Taylor was like, well, I'm going to total 800. And then Michael C was like, well, I'm going to total 800. And I was like, well, I mean, I need the closest. I mean, on that day, I feel like if Michael wouldn't have cranked up and lost to Taylor, he probably might have beaten him or gotten close to it. But we were all just around that, like 770, around that area. And we're like, we can break into that. Like, we can do it. And that was a crazy year because that was the year that COVID started as well. So the first person that goes first up to the bat to try to hit 800, Michael C. at the Arnold. Like, he had his time. There was really no competition when it came to like 74s. It was just him out there. I don't think Taylor competed at that. But he goes in, does really good on squat. We're like, all right. Well, like, he's set the tone. Went for 3 for 3 on squat. Like, all he has to do is just hit the big bench that he does, because bench is like his specialty. It ends up bombing out. Takes him out. I was there. I was watching that too, because that was the same time that, like, literally COVID had started. And I looked down at my phone and my school was like, don't come back to campus. Everything's closing down for the rest of the year. And we were like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, he bombs down. I'm like, damn. I was like, all right, well, like Taylor's next after that. So I mean, like it's just my time. So I mean, that one person out of the way, the team gets it first. Then Taylor's time comes. He goes in and she hits it. I think she had like 813 or something, 805. It was something
Something in
crazy.
there.
Yeah, it was something crazy. It was over 800, and I was like, dang. Well, I was like, I can't be made a fool. Like I gotta at least try to hit 800. So like this is a time where I was programming for myself as well. So people don't know this. The first time I filled 800, I programmed myself, but I kind of like what Joe does now to me. I programmed backwards, and I was like, if I hit 600 for 3 on squat, I got a 300 squat on meet day. Like I was doing stuff like that. I was like, if I can hit this, if I can just consistently try to hit this on bench, I can just try to get 396 on meet day. I was like, if I can pull a 628 for 4, I have 700 on meet day. Like I had already thought this. I was like, this is when I start using my mind. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. I was going in every day, every session. Like this has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. I get to the meet and I squat 300 like RPE 10, but I get it. Like, I'm like, all right, good. And as soon as I get done, my body starts cramping up because I used up all of my energy. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to make it through the day. But I was like, I just have to keep trying. Like, I'm never going to know if I just don't try. So I go in, bench comes, and I got lucky because the person that was getting liftoffs is actually my best friend and my roommate that lives with me now, lives with me and my fiance now, Rob. Shout out Rob, love Rob. He's my best friend, been there since the beginning. Um, like literally since the beginning, before my fiance, before like Joe. I met him like in college, went to Midland together. Um, he was the handoff guy. He didn't give me liftoffs the whole time. So I got lucky that he was the liftoff guy. And so we had been practicing that whole time. So he gave me the perfect liftoff, grinded out 396 at RP. Like I'm literally gassing myself. I was like, bro, I'm gonna get through this meet. I'm going to do this. That's what I just kept telling myself. Like I was listening to an album too that day. I usually remember what songs I'm listening to when I had like something crazy meet day, but I was just in the back. Like I wish they had cameras back there. Like I'm always jumping around, like listening to music. I like the certain thing, a certain song. Omar probably seen on my story. Like I like to post song lyrics. That's like my thing. And certain lyrics just give me hype, and especially when it's like that's why I love Drake so much because he's like one of the best people. He swear that everyone sleeps on him, but like some of the lyrics he says is what gets me. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is what people think, dude. Like I got to go out here and prove it. So I
Drake can make anyone feel like they have haters, you know?
yeah, literally.
Mr. Rogers puts on Drake. He's like, yeah, screw all these people who hate me, you know? Like,
It's my neighborhood, man. I'm like, what the? But yeah, so I do 628. I take a fat jump from 628 to 672. And then I'm like, hey, this is it. Last pull. I'm this 800 on the dot, or I just don't get it at all. Like, this is all or nothing. So I put 705 on, and I pull it, pass out. Literally, pass. Like, I pull it, I drop it on the ground, unlatch the rope, black, everything. And then I wake up, and then they pull me back, and they're like, bro, you got it. And I was like, I got it. They're like, yeah, dude. I was like, 800. Everyone was like, wow. Like, there's 2 people that have done 800 now. So now it's like the talks are kind of happening. Like, oh, Austin could be perked this year. Like,
yep.
it's like he's close. They both total 800. Like, there's no reason. Like, if Taylor misses one, especially like this, it's gonna be close. But at that time, that was a hard time too because I had so much. I had not what is it? So many people were just banking on me and so much pressure on my shoulders at that point. And I was so young and I really couldn't carry that pressure. And I just saw it. And then I was kind of confident, but I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking it's like make it. So I made it that time. Like I was like, all right, got this. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna give this man a fight.
Let's contextualize this a little bit because I think this is in many ways almost a different era. At least it seems like it for you. Like you were 20. It was 2020. It's COVID. Taylor is clearly the man, and the perspective of what is possible is changing. And an 800 total, by the way, an 800 total still is insanity.
Yeah.
As a 74 or 75. God damn it, it's good if you're at 120. Okay, just to put that out there. And you kill yourself to hit this, passing out and still getting it. it is probably the limit of what you could have got on that day or very close to it.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of first given okay, so this is maybe the heir apparent. This is the person who's going to be chipping or nipping at Taylor's heels. And I think I don't want people to forget that, because when we juxtapose that with 851 now, I think people can lose the significance of what it was like in this era where we had this kind of battle. And this was where we're approaching the time where Taylor's starting to get pissed. He's like, you know what? Because he's like the classic comment, you guys think you're close, but you have no idea.
Yeah, that's the one that's the one that got me. I was like, you know how people talk about how they have dreams about things like that? Like, that's one of mine. Like, I just remember in college, like, I would cry, dude. Like, it would be so bad. I'm like, damn, I can't believe he still thinks he's that far. Like, there's no way. Like, I would wake up in sweats. Like, damn, like, is he really that far? Like, it was like that. This man was messing with my head. 'Cause I was trolling with him a little bit, but then I was like, there's no way, like, he's actually that far ahead. I was like, I don't believe it. Like, you're not really posting anything. Even if you are, like, hiding it, it can't be that good. Like, I was like, it can't be, but boy, was I.
Can I ask you about that? I don't want to jump ahead because I know you've been going through this really well, but what did it feel like to see him do that when he went 838.5 and to be like, geez, was that motivating, demotivating? Did it shake your confidence? Where you were at as a young man and a lifter, what was that experience like for you?
So in the moment, I knew it all based on we had to go 9 for 9. Like, that was my thing. And as I was warming up, I kind of felt good. But I kind of had, like, I recently just talked about this because I don't like to bring things up because I feel like it's excuses, but I had like some kind of like leg pain, like, going into it. It wasn't like major at all. Like, I'm not blaming it on that at all, but I wasn't as confident in my squat at that meet at all. And I needed at least 300 to 302.5 to stay in it with them. And I missed my last squat. So at that point I was like, yeah, it's over. Like, even my coach at the time was like, yeah, dude, like, you're not coming back from that. Like, I had to go 9 for 9 because, I mean, his bench was just, I couldn't bench shit then. You have to realize that. That was back when I couldn't bench at all. I was barely benching 180 at that time. So, like, 175 was like maximum effort. So if he was going to bench 200, not nowhere near what I was going to, at least 15 keys ahead. So if I'd already lost 10, 15 kilos on one squat and he already had 15 kilos on me on bench, that's 30 kilos already leading into deadlift. There was no deficit. I wasn't going to pull 850. Like, no. So after squat, honestly, I was just like, yeah, it's done. So I was going to just enjoy the Taylor show at this point. And it was just pretty cool to watch. Like, it was very motivating to be like, damn, like, he really did that. Like, I didn't expect for him to go 750 that day on deadlifts at all. Like, maybe 730, 740 around that, what I hit. But no, he was just on one that day. And it was just crazy to see, to be like, damn, like, he just benched 200 at like RT8. And then I was like, he's opening up with 300 to 616. And then I was like, he took a jump to 700. Then I was like, he's taking another jump to 750. I was like, bro, this man is literally just mine. I'm just watching it like, oh my God, like, he is that far ahead. Like, I was just like, I wouldn't say that I was thinking like I would never get that total, but I left a bad taste in my mouth because I was like, damn, he did me so bad. Like, he literally shot on me, like, on everyone.
Austin.
And that is not good, man.
Austin.
It sounds like it was a motivating experience, though.
Yeah.
And so just for those who don't know, there was you totaled, I think, 770 and Taylor totaled 838.
Yeah.
So, when you think about that kind of gap from first to second, that typically is not happening in this competitive a meet. Like, you're seeing kilos or sometimes body weight making the difference. So it's hard to overstate how dominant that performance was. And I think it speaks to your attitude that, yeah, it was like, oh, damn, I got shit on, but you were like, and this is going to motivate some change in me.
Yeah.
No, Austin, I was going to say that, man, that number that Taylor totaled, and that's why he is one of the GOATs. It was an ice cold moment. Like, I remember that line. I've spoken with him. It's like, you guys think you're close. You have no idea. But my question for you, Austin, because you internalized it, do you think that it wasn't directed specifically at you, but the whole league of competitors? At the time, I remember I was going to say, wasn't there that other individual? Because you're kind of like a quiet, like do your thing. Forget Pug was it that kept saying like basically like it's gonna be the downfall of Taylor, like this or that. And I thought, not that, as I understand it, there wasn't directed at one person in particular. And some voices, I'll just say, certainly not you, were like louder, like, oh, like Taylor thinks he has it. And so that Uno reverse card, especially to your point where you're coming up, this is a story right here. Like your background, we're going to get into all that, everything that transpired, this performance, and then for Taylor basically to be that high level competitor. And I think that it just crystallizes what you just did. That Taylor was so dominant that he was able to coax again that performance that is arguably better than what the 83 kgs are doing. No other weight class is able to do that. So you have these titans here. And then it sets the theme, Austin, for what comes after it, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's crazy. He was on another level. Like when it came to doing things, like I just knew that wherever he went, like when he went over to the IPF, I was like, yeah, he's not gonna have any problem like winning that. I guess the US, I want to say we have all the strongest lifters, but when it came to 74, it's like we had the top 4 hitters. Like we had me, Taylor, Pug at the moment, and then Michael C. The others who just got really hurt, so and then they fell off. But no, yeah, it's crazy to see that, like how good he was in the moment and think back. Like this was crazy. Like he had just totaled 812 and a half or something like that, and then he goes and totals 838, and it was kind of like it wasn't as easy, I would say, as my 851 was, but it was pretty like so he still had like should have squatted a little bit more, and then he missed his last bench.
Mm-hmm.
His total still could have been, I think, because I made sure that I tried to total more than that at this meet soon, because I don't want him to be like, oh, well, if I got my last bench, I still would have out totaled him. Like, no, yeah. So even if he would have got his last bench, he still would have had like 842, 845 around that, something like that, which is still fucking crazy. Like that's like record total right there. But no, yeah, and I thought he was just gonna get better and better and better until like I guess I was saying this on another podcast as well that like squatting that heavy weight is hard. Like I know even Jesus knows like you can't just squat. He doesn't just squat 1,000 back to back to back. Like that's gonna take a toll on the body. And it's like squatting over 300 multiple times and being like after cutting, and that's like the first lift we have to do, it's super taxing to the body. So I feel like that's probably one of the reasons he got that injury. Just beating himself up with all that volume that I know TSG gives, plus like squatting that heavy weight, it takes a toll on you.
It's 4 times body weight. Let's just be clear, folks.
Yeah, that's especially when you have to cut weight into it. Like at least Jesus can like eat into the meat and be fine, and he's not losing any weight. But like you're cutting down to 74, and you're probably getting back up to 75. But your body itself is still 74. Like you have that small frame. So just doing that, I think that's what probably messed him up with him getting injured. But I still had faith in him 100% moving forward. But no, yeah, I think it's crazy that I passed that. I just skip forward a lot, but yeah, it's just crazy to think that.
Well, before you skip forward, I want to ask, because you said, you former coach, you talked about how you hit that 300 total and it took everything in you. And it was almost 3 years before you got over an 800 total again when you totaled 825. So talk to us a little bit about what that was like, hitting this peak, getting pretty much, as you said, I'm using your words, I don't see it this way, but you said it this way, getting shat on by Taylor.
Yeah.
And then I want to know, what was it like to have to spend a couple of years before you were able to really show what you've been building? And what were the key things that took you from kind of maybe looking like you might be plateaued at 800 to showing people, oh, I am absolutely not plateaued?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was after that meet, after the 838 total meet, Taylor meet, or it was Legion Nationals. But I'm pretty sure that was after. I can't remember. Oh no, it definitely was. I don't remember. But there was a time where I was with Joe, and then I was just like, yeah, I can't do this shit anymore, Joe. Like I can't program myself. Like I need some help, dude. And he was like, I got you, let's do it. And so we started doing stuff together, yada yada yada, and then we're going hard, and then we have this one block that we thought was going perfect. Like everything was clicking, man. Like I was benching 400 for the first time consistently. I was benching it twice a week. like me benching 405, close grip one day, like on Tuesday, and then Friday, freaking compressing with the arch and stuff for 405. Like I was doing it twice a week at that point. Like I was benching it so much that my elbows were hurting. And then I squat 300 again for the first time since I told it 800, and I did it in training this time. And I'm like, oh yeah, we got it. And yeah, that happened earlier in the week because I think I hit my primary squats at the beginning of beginning of the week at this point earlier in my career. And then we get to Friday where I have like my comp bench day, and I got a little pause squats that day, man. Going to the gym, warming up, hit one red easy, two reds easy, put three reds, unrack it, feel a pop in my lower abdomen, and I'm like, all right, maybe it's just gas. Step out, squat it, pause it for one. I was like, that definitely did not feel good, and it was super heavy. So I just rack it. I'm like, damn, like my stomach hurts, and I'm like, it's just pain just starts coming harder and harder and harder. I'm like, dang, what's going on? So I just lay down on my back, and I'm like, damn, my stomach like fucking hurts. And one of the guys comes over and they look at it and they're like, dang, what's wrong, Perk? And I'm like, no, it's just something hurts. And he goes and he looks down, and it's like four people around me. So it's like, how it's on movies, like you look up and it's like everyone looking over something. That's how it looked to me. And then everyone faces go, and they just all look at each other. And my friend's like, dude, I think you might have a hernia. And I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, dude, you might have a hernia. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to go home, chill. Maybe like I'll relax and I'll be fine later on. So someone takes me home. I get there, I lay down. Like, I literally can't move. Like, I'm like, oh, like it hurts. I'm like, it hurts so bad. And then they start looking up stuff on their phone, and they show me, they're like, bro, that kind of looks. I look down. Like, this is the first time I get home. This is the first time I've looked down at my abdomen, and I see a bump like on my, like literally a lower abdomen, right above the junk, literally about that big, a raise from my stomach. And I look at the picture. I'm like, yeah, it looks like a hernia. And I don't even know what a hernia was. So they take me to the hospital. I go to the ER, and they're like, yeah, buddy, you got a double inguinal hernia. Like, yeah, it's like, it wasn't like a sports hernia thing where it's like it happened. It was just he explained it to me. He was like, it's when you're a kid, when you're a baby and you're born and you're a male, your testicle drops through a tube and that tube closes. And mine, unfortunately, did not close all the way. And it was like a genetic thing, actually. My dad had the same thing, but they did sew his up when he was younger. Um, but they didn't know what happened to me, and my dad didn't think anything of it. So so it's been tearing literally from birth, like just been tearing, tearing, tearing. And then the doctor, word for it, said it was just a straw that broke the camel's back, man. Like it wasn't a heavy weight for you at all. It was just that time for it to happen. Um, so I had to get surgery. I went and got surgery probably like a week later. They got me in fast. And they went ahead and did both sides, closed up and put mesh into both sides just to make sure like the side that already had popped and the side that was going to pop, they just went ahead and stitched it up anyway. And then I was off for like 3 months, man. It was a pretty bad job. I'm not gonna lie. I tell people all the time I was super depressed. Um, I was sad, man. I was in Fremont, Nebraska too. The person I was living with at the time, or staying with at the time, that was helping me, lived in the basement because Nebraska has a basement, and I was literally in the basement for like a month. I couldn't go up the stairs. I couldn't. The person wasn't going to carry me up the stairs. So yeah, I was down there. I couldn't really go up the stairs for a month. I was down there, literally no sunlight, super depressed. I thought it was over. Honestly, I was like, yeah, man, like I'm not coming back from this. Like, I can literally not even sit up to get out of bed. Like, how am I gonna ever squat at least 500 pounds again? Like deadlift 700 pounds. Those are the things that go into my head as I'm sitting there every day, not able to get out of bed, not able to do anything. And Joe, I remember calling Joe the night that it happened actually, and I was like, yeah, Joe, I gotta tell you something. I was like, I can't do anything. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I got a double inguinal hernia. He's like, you can just hear like his voice change, and he just like pauses for a second. And it's like, at that point, I'm like, damn, like I disappointed Joe. He's put in all this effort and all this work into me. Like, it was honestly about me not getting back to where I was ever again, and disappointing all the people in my life who had helped me so far to get to the point I was, like all they sacrificed to help me. But the doctor I was working with was actually a great doctor. And then he told me, he was like being honest with me. He was like, hey, like, don't do anything these next times. And then I would go in, like, I think like 2 months later, and he was like, you can go to the gym and do this, but don't go over like, it had like accessory work, cable work, stuff like that. And I go in next time, he's like, all right, well, the mesh is like 100% loaded to your body. So you can go like 50%, I say, like go 50%. And then I start going 50%. And everyone's like, damn, that's kind of heavy after you just got done with like surgery like 2 or 3 months ago, man. And I was like, well, the doctor said I could go 50%. Like, I'm just gonna do what I do. So I did that. Then like a month after that, I went back again and he was like, well, the mesh is completely welded to you and then your body's like formed over it. So like you can go 100% if you want to. But of course I didn't go. I didn't go out all 100%. But Joe was like, all right, we'll just work up to it. And I was feeling good. Came back, man, and then I kind of do want to talk about, don't want to talk about. I had the Virginia Pro. I did the Virginia Pro leading into that. This is post injury. Oh no, I actually didn't meet. I didn't meet after that. Go ahead. You can go ahead, Eric.
Do you think that forced downtime was helpful to you at this point?
Oh, 100%. Looking back on it, I think if I wouldn't have taken that break, I think it was my body telling me, hey, you've been doing this for 10 years or 9 years at this point. Like, just sit back. Because I'm not going to lie. I do remember this too. I was thinking like that training cycle was going so well. I was like, after Nats, like, I'm just going to take a little break. You know, like, I really want a break. Like, I've been working my ass off every day, day in, day out. Like, I've been working. Like, I didn't want to chill. And then literally like 2 weeks after that, I had the injury.
Yeah.
I guess I just got what I asked for.
Because you had never had a year off of competing since 2016.
Yep.
And you still did technically have a year off, but at least you had some time. You had like what, 6 months or something like that?
Yeah, like, yeah, 4 or 5 months, something like
Yeah.
that. So it was well needed. I'm glad my body got to recover. I think that's what probably made me heal quicker and feel better. But after that, I really didn't have the confidence that I did before. Because I mean, who would, you know, after having surgery, and it's like in your abdomen, you need your abdomen to do everything. Like, needed to bench, needed to squat, have down top of that, needed to brace for deadlift. So yeah, like I really wasn't confident, and I was going into the Virginia Pro. I actually did a meet, like my first meet back, and it was in Arizona, and I did really good. And I totaled 790, and everyone was like, "Oh, like Perkins doing good now. Like, he's coming back." Like, I didn't feel like I was at 100%, probably like 85%, 80 to 85%. But oh yeah, I mean, I did that meet. I really didn't feel super confident in the squat, but I mean, that was, and then bench was the first time I benched 400, and I was fine going into that. And then deadlift, I pulled 700 again. So I was like, we're on the right track. Like, and then I got like highest dots of that year after everyone had competed at Mega Nats that year, because that was earlier in the year, or like, it was the summer, I'm pretty sure, like June. And I did my meet in August, and I had the highest dots of the year, out dots everyone. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I'm kind of back a little bit, you know? I can go toe to toe with the pros that just competed. So I signed up for Virginia Pro. Then I'm going to do that. And leading into that, I kind of was like, oh, like I have the eyes that's coming in. Like, all I have to do is just go in here and just try to hit the same thing, and I'm fine. Like, you know, like I'll be good. But I still didn't have that confidence in my squad. And I was honestly looking back on it now. I always told people this. I was like, why did y'all freaking tell me I was squatting so high in training, man? Like, that looks so bad. Like, going back and look at it now, I'm like, oh, it's so cringy for me to be celebrating after like I hit like a super heavy squat, but then it was like borderline high. Like, it's like if it was me today and I saw that and I saw someone squatting like that, I'd be like, bro, I don't know why they're celebrating their high shit. Like, that's what I would say to them right now. But I go to Virginia Pro, and we're like, all right, so training didn't go 100% like we wanted. It didn't go terribly whatsoever, but like, we want to just not cast anything. So let's cut. Joe was like, let's just cut. Let's do a good cut and chill and be fine. But for some reason, with me, I lose so much weight midweek. I lost too much weight. I think I weighed in like at 72.7, 73 or something at that Virginia Pro. Like, it was something super light. And I only had to weigh in at 75 too. And I end up, I never told Joe this, or my friend Rob whenever I was going in, but my last squat warm up, I freaking feel my quad cramp. And I'm like, And then me, I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like, it's fine. It's whatever. I'll touch the road. Like, it's all good. Missed my last squat on depth, and I was like, damn. I mean, it's fine. I can still do pretty good. Go to bench, and then my opener moves like ass. My second attempt moves at RP 10. So I get my opener, but second moves at 10. I'm like, oh my God. And I 100%, at first, I was like, I'm not going to blame it on the handoff guy. But 100% now, since I switched over the stuff lift off, I 100% think it was the lift off guy, bro. He wasn't listening to me, man. I'm going to blame you. I'm sorry. If he listens to this, bro, I'm so sorry for blaming you. But I'm going to stay with you. No, yeah. So then my last one moves freaking like a second attempt. And I'm like, damn, like I wasted a whole attempt now. And so at this point, it's like now I have to pull for something like pretty decently good. And like my deadlift training wasn't the best. So, we're after bench. I'm like, I'm at a good spot. Like I'm at third right now. Like I'm chilling. Like all I have to do is get all 3 deadlifts so I can get second. And if someone misses, I can get first if I can push them or something. So that's what we're looking for. First deadlift, man. Go up to the bar, try to pull it. Calf muscle fully locked up in the back. Like literal, like done. I just fall. Like I let go of the bar and fall back. And everyone looks at me and Joe's like, bro, are you okay? And I'm like, dude, I literally can't move my calf muscle. Like I can't bend my leg at all. And so he takes me over to the manual therapist table. They massage it out. I go and take the warm up again, go back out, get the massage therapist again, go back in, hit 2 reps, go back to the therapist. Go 4 reps, go back to the therapist. Last warm up, go back to the therapist. And then I pull my first attempt, and you can see me literally on live hobbling off the platform because my leg starts cramping up again. And at that point, I'm mentally done. I'm like, I get my second, but it moves like, moves pretty like, And then Joe's like, all right, we're going to go 325. And if you pull this, like, let's get us in the third. In my head, I'm like, oh no, this is one thing that made me mad. Joe was like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to like go for fourth? Or do you want to go for third? Like, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to put it on? And I was like, he knows this. I don't know why he asked me in the moment, but I hate when people talk to me and ask me what I want to do, especially on the last deadlift. It's like, bro, I don't know. Like, just put whatever you want to put on there. Like, and my friend Rob was there too. And he was like, I was like, Rob, what do I need to do? And he was like, well, you need this. So let's just do this. And I was like, all right. And they put it on and I ended up failing it just because like I really didn't have I wasn't there mentally. I was already cramping up and like I was already defeated because I was supposed to like go in and win anyway. So I was already mentally defeated. And then at that point, that's when everything clicked. That's actually whenever like me and my fiance, we talked a little bit when I was in college, a little bit here and there, but she still was at college. I was in Austin. But this is like the point where we actually start like getting to each other. Like after Virginia Pro, like 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks after that, so we'll start contacting again and talking again. And she's like, it'll be fine. It's really helped me through some mental stuff and stuff like that. But that's what helped me flip the switch. Like that was the meat that I was like, I can't let this shit happen again, man. Like something's got to give. Like I got to get better. And then that's what started the whole arc, the whole training arc and getting better. And then leading into that 825 meet, I had all the people that those are like that. The training between the Virginia Pro and that 825 meet was literally one of the best training, like tri-color training arcs that I've ever had. Like it was great. Was going in every day. This is what I was talking about. Me and Cassie and Bam were training. There was always someone else there. It was like, as soon as my primary day, either Cassie or Bam would be there. If it was Cassie's primary day, it would either be me, Cass, or Cass and Bam. If it was Bam's day, it would be either Bam and Cassie or me and Bam. Like there was always one other person there. Like we always called if we had to be a different time of day. We told us when to come then. Like it was literally just like back to back training. Like everyone was like, we're gonna get this shit done. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get here. Like all these people think we aren't good. Like I compare it honestly. Like people see those old videos of Ronnie Coleman lifting with people. Like that's how it felt. Like it felt like one of those times. Like we're going in here. We're going to war every day. Like no matter what. Like it's freaking cold as shit in here. Like we live in the warehouse, so there's no heat or AC. It's like, bro, like we're warming up, bro. Like we got sweats on. We're chalking each other's freaking hoodies. Like putting the knee sleeves on outside or inside of the joggers. We're fucking getting this shit done. Like it doesn't matter if it's 10 degrees in here. Like we're getting this work done. And it felt good. Those are great times. And then everyone was on my head. I had my fiance was still up in Nebraska in college, so she would just talk to me, make sure I was good on that stuff. And then when I would go to the gym, like I had people there like motivate me. Like it was just like we're giving It was literally like I was comparing My Hero Academia, the anime. Like we're passing around one for all, bro. Like we're just using that shit. And then I was doing that meet in Dallas, and then I told my friend Cassio, like, sign up for me too. Like, you probably can win. So we're giving away like $1,000 for best dots or something like that. And so I was like, go ahead and do it, Cass. Like, come on, might as well. And she was like, all right, then that's what put us on the track back together because we were doing the same meet. And there was just good league going into it. And me and Joe figured out we had everything planned out. And we went in, and the goal was to go only RP78. That was the goal of that meet. I wanted to go all out, not gonna lie, but Joe, like, bro, let's just hold off to that, dude. Like, you're good. It's just a test out, it's to see. We go in here and we squat the record just to show people we could do. We squat in the 305s. Bench 195. He wanted to only go 190, but I was like, Joe, like 195 is gonna move, bro. Like, come on, let's do this shit, bro. Like, I literally had to raise him up a little bit. I had to be like, hey, Joe, like, let's do this. But that happens, and then deadlift, he's like, let's just put on 325 just to see if we can get it back from when we missed the Virginia Pro. I moved easy, and then that was just the meet that put me on my sights, and I was just like, oh, it's over now. Like, I was like, that total that I was, and I was on another mission at that point. Like, I hadn't become everything that I'd worked for. I knew that it worked now. Like, I knew what I had to do and all the effort I had to put in, and all I had to do was replicate that shit. All I had to do to look that's man. Now we're to the present at this point. We put it in the work. Me and Joe changed like two things with programs, but like kept the base of it the same, like same day, moved everything back a day. Did the exact same thing with squats, same thing with squats, 1/4s, triples, doubles. A lot of people get crazy when I say this, but I don't hit singles for squat and training whatsoever. Don't touch them. They're just fatiguing too much. So that went well. Bench, we did like the last blocks. I do like around 3-5 week blocks. The last block, we decided to add some more singles in for bench just to get me more acclimated to hitting heavier weight because I just felt on my primary day, I was just like, damn, like I'm benching to high 200s every day. But then I come in Friday or my primary bench day and it's like I'm hitting 400 plus, like 400 to 450. Like, I was like, I need some more exposure, Joe. And he's like, all right, bet I got you. So we figured something out. I had like 400 on the dot earlier in the week and that day before I hit like a moderately heavy pause single, like a long pause single 160. I think it's like the set mark I hit the day before. And then it works out. And then deadlift did the exact same thing, except for last week, instead of hitting something super heavy, we just hit our opener to just see how that tapered. And ended up working out. We get through our nationals. And honestly, I'm just like, people are always like, you nervous? Like, you don't feel this pressure on you? Like, everyone expects you to outdo Taylor's record. Like, you don't feel pressure at all? And I was like, honestly, no, because, like, I've done everything that I need to do in training. Like, I was squatting to depth at this point now. There were no, like, people on comments saying, like, damn, like, he's squatting high. Like, oh, we're squatting deep enough, squatting fast. My fiance, shout out my fiance for making me 3-second calls. I feel like on my top days. I love you, babe. Um, on deadlift, I just knew that was going to be amazing because Omar, I know you deadlifted that game day and they made it in. They're freaking terrible when you deadlift. So I already knew once I got AC, like I was going to be fine. To give me some AC, like we always, that's the one thing the rolling joke at game days, like, bro, once we get an AC, it's over with, bro. It was AC and we get superpowers. But yeah, like I really wasn't worried about anything. So I just went into the meet. I could have weighed in 74 if I wanted to, but prime time Raw Nationals, you weigh in at 6 p.m. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. I woke up at like 6:45 to 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not gonna just start. I woke up at 73.8, and I was just like, I'm not gonna just starve myself for 12 hours. Like, I'm just gonna eat. So I woke up in that morning, ate pancakes. Lunch, I had like rice, ate like a whole bag of gummies. We're drinking water and Gatorade all day just to keep the water and salt levels stuff high. And I get to the meet, weigh in 74.2, and I was like, yeah, man. My friend Rob was like, bro, you should have just spit, bro. We could have made it. And I was like, nah, it's fine. We're good. So we're joking around. We made weight. It was fun. I go in, start squatting, feeling good. A7 hooked me up with some meal news and these sleeves on the day because I was I had some knee sleeves, but I mean, you can never go wrong with tighter knee sleeves. I mean, like I wear a large anyway, so it's not like they're oversized technically, but they were just newer. You know how instead of being all like used and still having like kind of the form to look bit, I had the brand new ones on. So shout out them, I guess.
93 kilo man joints on a 74 kilo frame, large. No wonder you're squatting so damn much.
But yeah, I went in. I was feeling good, squatting. Big miscommunication on my last squat though, because Joe likes to get a little happy-go-lucky sometimes. So I was like, hey, let's not just. I looked at him and I was like, don't put nothing crazy on the last squat. And that's all I said. I didn't give him a number. And so they went 313 and a half, but the goal we had already put on paper was 315 and a half. Like we weren't going to go any higher, we weren't going to go any lower. But I guess me saying that after my second attempt, Joe was like, oh, okay, like, let's just play it conservative. And I was like, fuck. And we're back to I was like, bro, no, I didn't mean that. I meant just don't go 320 or something. He was like, we should freaking said that. Now we're like kind of freaking out because they were like, we want to try to go for 850 today. And I just thought we were just going to go right over 838 and a half. But they were like, we can go 850, but it was like, well, damn, like, we need to like figure something else out now. So now I'm nervous that I'm not going to get 850. Those are my nerves now at this point. Not that I wasn't going to hit Taylor's total like that. Hitting Taylor's total was already out of like on the table. We already knew we were going to do that. But my biggest thing was I wanted to take Taylor's record on the second attempt just to make sure, the second attempt deadlift, just to make sure that we had it solidified. Like, let's not leave anything up to chance. Let's just literally take it on the second. So we're like, all right, well, you're going to have to bench like 2 and a half if you want to do that. And then we get to bench. And these are the longest freaking bench commands, press commands in the freaking world, bro. They're making me hold it at the top for like 5 seconds. So like, I'm here holding it to like bench. I'm like, damn, it's been like 3 seconds. I go down. Press. I was like, oh my God, that was forever. So at that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm not benching 202 comfortably today. Like, I could hit it, but it would be a grind with these pauses. And so we just settled on going to 185, 195, 200 because we knew 200 would be there. We were like, there's no doubt. With a long pause, no matter what, we could grind it out if we needed to. It's fine. So I hit 200, and I feel like that was honestly my hardest into the day. I would definitely give it probably an 8.5. I wouldn't give it a true 9, but I would definitely give it an 8.5 on that day, like strict 8.5. And then at this point, it's 10:30 at night. I go to sleep at 10 o'clock. So I go out and I'm talking to my fiance and I'm like, I'm so tired. She's like, it's okay. You literally only have 3 more lifts. And I'm like, I mean, technically I have like 7 more lifts because I have to do warm-ups. But yeah, you're right. And she's like,
you're tired when you're counting it like that.
yeah, right. And my family's like, yeah, you're good. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take some more pre-workout right now. So I just get 110, shout out 110, best pre-workout. I throw that in there and I take like I think that's 250 milligrams. And so like I'm finally getting into it. Joseph is back there too as well with me at this point. He's like, Joseph's been there the whole time, by the way. He's been hyping me up. He's not even shooting. He only goes out and shoots as I'm lifting. He's like, I want to shoot your session, but I don't want to shoot anyone else. So he literally only shoots my flight, not even that one big flight before me. But we get to deadlift and he's like, all right, bro, like I know you're tired. This man hypes me up. I appreciate this man so much for this. Like, he doesn't know how much it's affected me because I was really dead and I was starting to second guess myself about trying to take Taylor's record on the second. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, we might have to lower the second attempt. I was talking to Joe and Jason was like, no, bro, just fill it out. Like, just fill it out, dude. Like, you'll be good. I think you need this pre-workout to kick in, hit your warm-ups, and then we'll be fine. So I take the start warming up. I hit 3 reds at first, and I take 3 reds twice. So I was just started at 3 reds. Then I go 4 reds. And then at this point, I'm like, all right, Joseph's like, hey, it's moving. It's starting to get better. And I'm like, with Joseph saying it, I'm like, all right, bet. He's recording it too, so I can go back and look at it. So I'm doing that. Then I get the 5 reds. Joseph's like, all right, man, this is it. Last warm up. Just tap in, do what you do. And he should be good. Just make it move, bro. And then I go up to it and I pull it. Dude, that thing must move like the bar. And Joseph was like, oh, yeah, we ready. And I was like, yeah, we ready. Then we go up, and this is the first time I've ever opened so heavy. I think my heaviest opener ever has always been 628. So 80. I'm pretty sure that was like the biggest I've ever gone. And then so opening up at 300, or 302 and a half, actually was kind of like scary to me, especially going from 275, jumping all the way to 302 on the ladder.
302.
Yeah, like on the opener, I'm just like, But I go up and I hit it. And then you can see on the video live show, I'm like, oh yeah, put that shit on, Joe. I'm like, bro, yeah, it's over with. I was like, we got this second attempt. Go out there and pull the second attempt.
25 kilo jump on the second attempt.
Kilo, yeah, 302.5 to 327. Yeah, 327.5. Take that jump. And then I was like, oh yeah, it kind of scared me a little bit. Even my fiance said I would have gave you the second attempt, not gonna lie. Because I kind of like, as he literally bowing down, like as he's like, I like fall forward a little bit and I try to catch it and he's like down and I'm like, and I pull it down and look up and I'm like, oh shit, I'm like red zone. And I was like, Joe's gonna make me retake this shit. I'm like, he's not gonna let me go up. And then I look and they gave me 3 whites and I was like, then Joe was like, oh, then I go back there and it's really just quiet and everyone. I was like, damn, that's crazy. My friend Rob was like, or you just broke Taylor's record. And I was like, did I really? And he was like, no, yeah, you just did it. Like, this is the conversation literally like flat. I was like,
yep, that was 841. You'd already done it.
He was like, yeah, no, you did it. And I was like, there's no way I did it because no one was saying anything. And I don't feel like it. He was like, bro, no, you did it. And I was like, I don't believe it. He was like, just go look. He gets mad. And he's like, bro, just go look at the board. Like, you did it. And I went and looked at the board and I was like, oh, I did do it. And then at this point, Joe was like, all right, we're putting the 337.5 on. He was like, just go and pull it. Like, that's all you can do, man. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And I'm just in my zone, have my headphones in, you know. This is the same 4 songs I've listened to the whole day. And then right before I go on, I put on that You Say Run by Hero. And I'm just saying to myself in my head, I was like, this is the story of how I become the #1 lifter, bro. This is it. Like, this is literally it. Just pull it. And I still didn't know at this point, this is for Russell's record. Because I didn't know what Russell's record was anyway. Because I had looked at it probably like 2 weeks prior and I was like, I could all that seems kind of like hard to hit. Like, so I wasn't banking on trying to go for it anyway. So at this point, I didn't know that 850 was going to be my total. I just know I was pulling 337. That's all I knew. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to go out here, just going to give it my all. That's it. And I go out there and I pull it. And I was like, damn, like, that was not as hard as I expected it to have been anyway. Then I go back there and that's why everyone's like, oh my God, bro, like, you just broke Taylor and Russ's record, dude. And I was like, yeah, solid RPA. But, you know, it was good. But yeah, and then now we're here, you know, living in the glory and having the pound for pound best for powerlifting performance ever. Like I said, I 100% think they can be debated with Jesus. If you want to give it to Jesus, I'm 100% will be like, okay, I'm not going to be like, no, not Jesus. I love Jesus. Shout out Jesus. Big Jesus fan. You know, we text each other all the time. He's a really cool guy. Really nice guy. But anyone above that, though, other than that, I won't take. I won't take and say it's a better performance. A better technical performance. I won't agree with you 100%. Unless it's Jesus. If you're not thinking Jesus is the better performance, then don't talk to me. You're just insane. Like, mine is literally the best besides his. Like, he can't be debated with anyone else.
So we're to present. Now the question is, so for those who don't know, just again, another little bringing the non-powerlifters into the conversation. USAPL split with the IPF. It's doing its own thing internationally. Many lifters stayed in the U.S. with the USAPL, and that is looking like it's going to change a lot as the IPF really seemed to show up and show out with the Sheffield, with the announcement that World Games is going to have a Raw division, and with Leveling Up Worlds as well. I was there, and it was a way big step up in terms of promotion and professionalism compared to the previous Worlds I've been to in 2017, 2018. And while it's not to say that the USAPL isn't stepping up as well, actually, excellent job with Mega Nats this year. And they got the Pro Series, and they're technically international. They had the Korea meet, and they have a few other things. But let's be honest, like, the USAPL is not truly an international organization on the same level. So there are a number of lifters who'd either been very subtle or very direct, who are top brass in the ranks of powerlifting at the USAPL, who have come over or are coming over and have stated they will. What are your plans
So as of right now, this is the first time I'm announcing it like in public. Actually, I haven't even posted it on my story. I posted it on my close friends and on my story. I have signed up for a PA meet. It's December 10th. The reason I really haven't posted about it is because I'm literally not doing anything. I don't think I keep saying this, I need to make sure 100%, but I'm pretty sure that there is no QT total for getting into Powerlifting American Nats. It's just, you have to have a total in general. You just have to have a registered total. So, I'm literally going to go in and just hit the bar. I'm literally just going to squat the bar, deadlift the bar, and bench the bar. I'm going to make a funny YouTube video out of it anyway. Try to get y'all to cut down the shit going on, and I love it.
Real quick, I will just say, sometimes I think it's an IPF rule. It may not be a PA rule, but there is some rules in some federations that you have to make bona fide attempts. So
okay,
I don't know if that's a PA rule. I would just double check so that you don't end up with an awesome video but no qualifying.
Yeah, so let's say I'll do a red for right now. Just a red, put it on there and do that. Qualify for PA Nats, and then duke it out with Taylor one more time. Just again try to get that revenge. That's the goal, man. I don't know. I just can't go out being 2-0 to him. Like that just sucks. At least I can be fine having a 2-1 record to him or a 1-2 record to him, but I can't let it be 0-2 to him. That just sucks.
So PA Nationals next year, we are going to see the head-to-head battle. And this is something that Nick Manders actually said. He's like, I don't know if Taylor is going to be able to get out of the U.S. anymore in the future. And it seemed like such a hot take. But now when you think about it, I mean, he's going to have to do well enough to potentially get the second spot. Of course, I'm not counting him out. But if we just go, all right, what was Taylor's most recent performance at Worlds? Where he's going to come back from there? And where is Austin at? Right now, I think most people would put their money on you winning this confrontation.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really intriguing. Everyone's going to want to see it. And I really do hope that Taylor is 100. Actually, I hope he's better than 100%. I think, not that that's a thing mathematically, but I hope that he has surpassed his previous best, not only just come back from, the struggles he's been dealing with and over the last couple of years. So that is going to be a historic battle. And it's going to determine then who goes to Worlds, which I assume your plans are to go to Worlds and try to win that world title. I don't know if you have been in communications with the new champion over Taylor from the most recent Worlds. That's a question I have for you: is have you had any interactions, messages, or communications with Taylor or our young current Swedish phenom world champion?
So with Taylor did tell me good luck and congratulations. It was super shocking when he told me good luck though, because he sent a voice memo and I was kind of like, I saw it and I popped up on my phone. I was like, what is this? I'm kind of scared to listen to it, especially since it's like, I think, is he gonna try to like throw me off? Is he gonna yell at me because I've been saying like I'm gonna do really good? Like I didn't know. Like I honestly thought I thought it was gonna be negative, but it was super positive. Super kind of dry. Congratulations, I feel like, but like it wasn't on the same level as the good luck. I'll say that. The good luck was definitely like hey, like I just want to say like put my ego to the side and like hope you really do good. Genuinely, oh, you've been seeing how good you've been doing. I know what it takes to get to that point. Like he was super in depth and super like heartfelt, but then the second one was kind of like, good job, man, you did good. Like he was kind of like that.
Well, I probably flipped the switch immediately knowing Taylor. He's an incredibly competitive person. He's like, all right, you got the good luck, and now that you've done this, now you're the enemy. But I will still say the good thing. But I am eyes on the sniper rifle. So.
Yeah, that's what I got from that. That's the Bible I got. But Carl Johansson did tell me good luck like 2 days before, and then he told me congratulations after. I think I had something to respond to him. Actually, I hope he doesn't think that I just don't like him at all. I just didn't respond because after you do something big,
yeah.
Get hella flooded DM. But when it comes to Carl though, sometimes I think he has a little bit too much dip on his ship. Like it's 770. Like even if let's say I do go over and I have to lose that 0.25 or like a whole kilo let's say a whole kilo, say I lose a hip, I think I'm still gonna have, if you still take 50 kilos off of my total from that, that's, 25 kilos more with, that's what it says that it moves the exact same as nationals. That's still like RP 7 to 8 days. So if I need to go more on something, it's fine. Also on the way to my meet for nationals, I was talking to my fiance about this. I was like, it's crazy that my opener that I had on squat was higher, I think, than the IPF squat record. Like, I'm pretty sure it's 285.
Austin, could I say one thing for you, buddy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say 780.
So Cal, in 2022, in August, totaled 717.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Worlds, he totaled 778
Mm-hmm.
in June. So, just saying. He's a young man. It's under a year. It's 10 months. 10 month span, 70 kilos. So 60 kilos. So
The only thing with that is like that's crazy progression. 100% great,
Yeah.
crazy progression. But it's holding 800, bro. It's harder than people think.
I'm by no means am I saying that you got to watch out, bro. He's gonna put another 60 on there and he'll be in the low 800s. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I know that the young man's hungry. He is a young man, and I think it's going to be a very interesting next couple of years. That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, he's definitely gonna be up there when it comes to doing it. But I don't know, like he sounds like, to be honest, I was thinking about this. He sounds like me whenever I was coming up, literally just like that. Like he's hungry for it 100%. Like he's hungry for it. But this is it's a table full of food, and I think I'm hungrier. That's all I'm gonna say. Like you got food, but
Austin, I think we need to frame this because you're the new king. Yeah, the old king,
Yep.
Taylor. I won't share any insights because guess what? I may know a Benjamin Franklin escrow that's Taylor's, coach along, obviously with Jason. And I'll just say that I think that your performance will only motivate someone, if anything. So that's why I'm very curious to see next year. I do love to hear what you said about Taylor sending the message. Like it must be tough, man. Like this is a record for him that that was so historic when it occurred that you think, man, this is gonna last some time. So probably that follow-up message. But I can't wait to see if that actually occurs, to your point where you said like you're 0-2, you want that opportunity. I think people forget it's so transient, the nature of kind of contemporary, just social media in general, but like powerlifting where some like, I forget where we're sharing the story, but someone didn't even know, various lifters of times past where they'll know about Jesus, but they won't know about who came before Jesus. Like, oh, what's it? Ray who? Ray Williams? It's like, man, these are very important feats that need to be framed. So one, I can't wait to hear about what happens with you in that future. But I do want to pause and just say, Asa, I really appreciate you just sharing some insight because we knew you as a lifter, but now we know more about you as a person. And I think it's very important how you correctly said, like, kind of the experiences that you face, the discrimination, the, let's say, flat out suboptimal, obviously, environment growing up. And that makes sense to me, man, why you want a conducive environment to yourself then that is so supportive towards the goals. And once you have that, it's almost like unlocking a new level. And there's a reason why I could see, and Joseph, shout out to the young blood, not going into his personal life, like some things he's been through and like how you guys relate. And I'll just say, I'm going to take, you'll like this, Austin. I'm going to take, speaking about Drake, Drake grew up in Forest Hill. Shout out to Aubrey. That's a fancy neighborhood. He wishes he grew up in my neighborhood, St. Jamestown. So when Joseph comes to Youngblood, I'm going to take him to that place where Drake talks about, but Drake, was living a little bit of a nicer life. And that's a Toronto man's, like, no one, like, unless you're in Toronto, like, they don't know. But I do just want to pause and say that I think it's incredible, the journey. Like, I really enjoyed just listening for you talk, like, the last hour over, like, the real beginnings and, like, where you were formed, the influences, like, your father, right? Like, your mom, too, were like, man, you spoke about that first meet that you did and like, how you placed it. And, it really, really showed, I think, the audience, ourselves, what it took to reach this point, because people will just see you, Austin, they'll be like, oh, like, yeah, he's gifted, like he has the talent. And yeah, he puts in the work, but like it's a foregone conclusion. And here we see this over decade long journey and some of the adversity that you faced and what you had to do. Even that second when you said the deadlift, like, okay, you have, wow, squats, bench, went great. We're watching it. I'm actually chatting, bro. I'm watching, crazy that it occurred for our time, like almost at midnight where it ended, right? I'm talking with Nick Manders. Shout out to Nick Manders if he's listening to this. While I was just commenting on like your live stream or your performance. And he's like, oh shit, like Green Ranger. Like it was just cool. Like we're just like all excited to see you, right? But to us, it's like, oh, it's a wrap, right? For like it's a wrap. Like that's what I'm thinking. But even that deadlift, right, where just many things going on. Holy crap, it's late at night. I just loved you taking that time. So I just want to say on a personal note, I really appreciate you, man, sharing all that insight into your story. And it is not a surprise that you're the person who you are. And I think you cannot separate Austin Perkins as a person from Austin Perkins, the accomplishment. And sometimes we lose sight just focusing kind of on that numerical value. Like, oh, like he did this, he did that. What led to that moment to let this person excel at this highest level and who he is most importantly as a person. I see that, man. So I want to give nothing but respect.
Thank you.
Well
Thanks for that.
Well said. I echo that 100%. Yeah, man, I really do appreciate your time and respect everything that's gone into this performance rather than just the performance itself.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like I said, it's a story, it's a journey. I mean, like, so like I hate to be cliche, but it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, man. Like all those people that are around you that help you out. And everyone that help you out, man, that's what it's about. And I say that all the time. I think it's another video that A7 posted, but like I don't think I'd be in the spot I am now without the people that surrounded me and helped me to this point. Like I'm not gonna say it was 100% me at all. Like I tell my fiance, if I could give her the award, I would. I mean, I am giving her the money for it. We got a wedding to pay for it. But but no, yeah. If it wasn't for her, 100%, I do credit. Like I said, 80% to her. Like she had gotten me right. She made sure everything was good outside the gym, physically and mentally for me. When it comes to other parts, Joe's helped me with the programming. He has everything down to the science. So I haven't been able to figure out the best way for me to get stronger. And with me, like it's literally just me going in there and just hitting that weight. Like everyone else basically does everything else for me, man. I'm just the vessel that everyone else lives through. So I appreciate everyone, man.
Come on.
You gotta love it, Omar. The man ends with the same thing he started with, is giving respect to the people around him and crediting those who've helped him create an environment that's been conducive to his success. It takes a village. He's had a village, and what a village to produce such a champion. I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for your willingness to share and always give people an insight into what's going on, because it's not just about, like Omar said, that performance. And like you said, it's not cliche. It's true. It is more about the journey than the destination. So, Omar, what do you think, man?
Eric, I loved it. Like Austin, one of my favorite. So my two favorite moments of 2023 when it comes to powerlifting, like on a personal just level, like of course there's some crazy performances. Jesus, right, breaking the all-time record, and then your performance, right? Like these two, like to your point, I think Austin, they're apples and oranges. Like it's amazing just how dominant you are in your respective class. And then Jesus, of course, breaking even the untested record. Like, come on, that's at that big boy weight where people didn't think it was possible. But I am interested. Maybe it is the person that cares about the story within an individual. But even when I saw Jesus's example, where his Sheffield video was talking about his mom, and I know like Jesus, like maybe we'll have him on the podcast sometime. Like some of the things he had to go through, the dealing the strength and resolve to get that performance where it's almost like an unnatural level that's needed to push someone to that point. So I think just getting to find out more about individuals such as yourself is always a distinct pleasure. We're going to make sure, Austin, not only to link your socials, but also for coaching, as I understand you do, my man. You're started the coaching and all those things. You're working at Game Day Barbell. We'll have that. Anything you want to shout out before we just wrap this up? Then we'll make sure everything's linked in the description.
Oh yeah, so follow me at D75kg. I don't know if I'm going to change that when I switch to the IPF, but I probably won't. Probably keep it the same, honestly. Follow me there. Same thing on TikTok. I do post YouTube. My YouTube is linked in my bio on IG. I really don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's the 75 kg as well. I'm going to start posting. I'm actually going to record a video today. So tune in for that. Shout out Game Day Barbell, everyone there. Even the people I didn't mention, I love you. I'll just throw people's names out. KG, Charlie. Shout out Tim, shout out Joe, shout out Andrew. Andrew, my manual therapist. He gets me right before the meet, always. Shout out my family. And then last but not least, shout out the most beautiful woman in the world, my fiance, Cindy Aguilera. And shout out to you guys. Thanks for having me on, man. It's always good to talk to Omar. It's always good to talk to you, Eric. Can't wait for you guys to come down again. If not, I can come up sometime. We'll talk about that later, hang out a little bit. Omar, know what I'm saying?
You can also come down if you want to go all the way to where we threw Sauron's ring into the mountain.
New Zealand.
So New Zealand
Eric's
is
in New
a
Zealand.
hop, skip, and a jump, and a hop, skip, and a jump, and a few more hop, skips, and a jump. Quick 13-hour plane ride, and you're right here. No problem.
Hey, I'll slide, man. All you have to do is let me know. Let me know what time and the place, bro. I'll be there. Bro. I'm always
Okay.
Awesome.
You're going to get to meet Evie Corrigan, Carlina Tongatia. You're going to meet Kedrick Kwan. All of these folks who are Jason, the coach with the mostest. Oh, man, I tell you what. I'll show you around AUT. You can see where we study powerlifting and figure out how we can get 1/18th as strong as you. Be good times.
let's do it, man. I'm always down.
Look, awesome. I'm always, as you know, I go back to Austin. I'll be back in January at the very earliest, at the very latest. Sorry, I should say. But no, it was our pleasure. This is a phenomenal episode. Everything will be linked in the description. Just want to say thank you to everyone for listening to another episode of Our Own Culture. You could go ahead and leave a rating and a review. Typically, people will give 5 stars. That's on iTunes, not because we prefer iTunes, but that's just where all the reviews are gathered. We're back every single insert date here, and we'll catch you in that next episode. Until next time.